Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So the new year is rolling in and I decided that I'm gonna take this very serious. Okay, so I'm on my lunch break and we gotta get it cracking. So if I can do this on my lunch break, y'all can study at home, y'all can also study on your lunch break. And the unit that we're going to be talking about today is the real estate brokerage. I'm not doing no edits, I'm not doing none of that. We're gonna just post, we're gonna record and upload, and that is just what it is. Okay, so the real estate brokerage, what does that even mean? So there's this thing called a real estate broker. The broker is like the principal and you are like the teacher. That's how I explain it. But key, like actual definition, brokerage is simply the business of bringing parties together. A real estate broker is licensed to buy, sell, and exchange or lease real property for others and to charge for a fee for those services. So you as an agent are under a broker. Okay, you cannot sell any real estate if you are not under, if you don't hang your license at a brokerage. Okay, so that doesn't mean that you necessarily have a boss, but you have someone to report to. Like if something happens, you're under their insurance. So they're not going to only be looking at you, they're going to be looking at them. Okay, so what is the purpose of license laws? So the purpose of them is to, number one, establish basic requirements for obtaining a real estate license, and in most cases requiring continuation education classes to keep the license. So it's good. Well, it happens every 2 years and it's amazing and it's great because there are new laws that come up and new things that you need to learn. You're able to learn those through the education, the continuation education courses. And they are drawn out, they are long, they are annoying, but you usually walk away learning something. Two, the purpose of the license laws, defining which activities require licensing. Because, for example, you as a real estate assistant, agent assistant, you can do certain things. And then as a licensed real estate agent, you can do certain things. So it's really just to define and establish the boundaries and the legalities of it. Describing the acceptable standards of conduct and practice for licensees. Yes, because there is a standard, and I don't know, we'll get to that. We probably really, it's really not even a lot about it, but there is a code of conduct and the way that you should display yourself as a real estate agent. And then lastly, enforcing those standards through a disciplinary system. So most likely is they're gonna revoke your license, or number two, they're going to make you pay a fine. So we spoke about the brokerage already, so we're gonna move forward. My goal is to get this done quick, making sure you guys are learning. If you guys have any comments, make sure you put them down below. So the relationship of the broker and the sales associate. So there are a lot of different types of relationships, depending if there's one relationship, but there are different ways that it could be done and used. There is the broker and then there is the sales associate. So understanding that understanding that there is, see, like I'm like recording with a camera, it's like it's weird. Okay, understanding that the broker is basically a managing broker. There's someone that is supervising and just making sure that whatever you're doing is in the code of conduct. Independent contractor versus employee. It gets very easy in this industry, especially in the beginning, to feel like you are an employee. Like you need to sign in, you need to do this, you need to do that, and this expectation that that your brokerage is going to give you something. They're not going to give you nothing. Okay, understand that whatever is given to you is out of kindness and in love, because they don't have an obligation to give you crap. All that they are required to do is make sure that legally you're fine, and that you are, what is it, like you're insured and everything is fine, like your license is active. There we go. Other than that, like, they don't really need to help you in terms of like figuring out how to put contracts together. They don't have to figure out how to give you your first few clients. Like, they don't really have to give you open houses. Like, they don't have to do anything for you. They don't have to do nothing. So understanding that an employee, there are more benefits, but as an independent contractor, you're able to do whatever it takes in the ways that you would like to do it to get to the end result. Okay? Next, the real estate assistant. So definitely there are certain things that the real estate assistant can do, and I think I should make a video about that. I'm not really gonna get into it, but a real estate assistant would do a combination of office management, marketing, organizing, and facilitating, whatever, as a facilitator. So there are a few things that the real estate agent can do. Not that, I'm sorry, that the assistant can do. I was a real estate agent assistant for a very long time for my mother, and I would get into it. Like, if you want to get into the business and you really want to understand the fundamentals and you want to be able to work under somebody, I advise that's a great idea for you. Next, broker's compensation. So we're going to talk about the money, the commission. This right here is everything you need to know and more. And I think I'm going to make another video about broker splits and like how to interview your broker or the firm or the brokerage, so you can really see if you want to be there. But broker's commission period is the cut, right? So when you sell a house, the seller is going to be paying for the cut. So if you're on the brokerage or seller side, it doesn't matter. That's just when you, let's say you were the selling agent, right? Let's say you found a client, right? And you said, hey, I want to sell your property for $300,000, and I'm going to put on the market only if 5% is the commission that we would be getting from it. Okay, so the total will be 5%, right? That means that broker, let me say, whatever, if I put the property on the market, I'll get 2.5% will go to my brokerage, and then the other 2.5% will go to the other brokerage. There are also different types of splits where they might want to get 3% and then the other agent might get 2%. We're not going to get into all that dramatics today and right now, but long story short, the seller themselves pay for the buyer and seller's agent commission. They pay for the commission. There, your brokerage gets a split and then you get a split. Okay, so they get the check. So it's not in the check could be in your name, but it has to go to the brokerage, and then once it hits the brokerage, then they have to decipher whatever money is left over, whatever split you guys have, and then you get the remainder amount. And you might have another split if you're on a team. So if you're on a team, they get a cut of that too. I think I'm gonna do a video on that because it gets a little complicated. Okay, next, multiple listing service. So the MLS provides a marketing opportunity, and that's really what it does. So the MLS is a multiple listing service, and the MLS is going to be your best friend. You go on there, you see the properties that are coming to market, the properties that are on market. You're able to do comparables on there. It's your database. So that's what the MLS is, and you need an MLS. I think in New York, it's like they don't have an MLS. They have some system, but they don't have like a database where they go and they can see everything. And I'll look that up because I don't even know how they be. Procuring calls. If you are in a transaction with a client or you have procured the cause, you are the reason for the transaction, you are the procuring cause. That means the reason for the transaction being had is because of you. You deserve a check. Okay, you have to be the procuring cause. You are not the side person. That means you are the person that made this deal go through. I'm gonna read what it says. It says the broker must have started or caused an interrupted chain of events that resulted in the sale. And then on top of that, for a seller to accept an offer, on the other side, for a seller to accept an offer, they need to bring a ready, willing, and able buyer. And these things are not really on the real estate exam. They're just things that you just need to know, because so you need to bring a buyer that is ready. They have their funds together, and they're ready to buy a house. Buy the house. All right. Next. So some real estate, not some, all have fees. So it's weird because you have your continuing education classes dues. You have your MLS dues. Like there are dues that come up throughout the year. But then within your brokerage, there are fees. They may have desk fees. They might have fees when you finally sell a house. So there are fees that kind of come up in between the year, but I can't tell you those because I don't know what city you're in. I don't know what brokerage you're at, but fees definitely come up. They will. So I think this is the last piece. We went quick today because I still gotta eat my sandwich and your girl only has 20 minutes left. Okay. So antitrust laws. So antitrust laws are things that are just banned by the real estate people, the board, whatever you want to call it. There are things that you just can't be doing. So it's very quick. So number one is price fixing. You can't set prices. Yeah, there are no setting prices saying, for example, I'm gonna in this neighborhood we're gonna only sell the cheapest house on the market has to be at least over $1 million, or this house has to be this price, or this, no, or like the commission has to be at 5%, everything has to be 5% or 2.5%. Like, you can't do that because they're gonna get you. Number two, you can't boycott. So you can't say like, you and a few other businesses be like, no, freak that business, we don't like them over there, they're trash, they're horrible. Like, you just can't be going around talking junk, and you shouldn't be doing that anyways, because you are a real estate professional. Like, you shouldn't even be doing that, period. Next, okay, so allocation of customers or market. So you can't say, oh, I'm gonna only have the north end of the Bronx, and then this other brokerage can only have the south end of the Bronx. Like, you can't do that. Like, and you can't, no one. Time agreements is the last one. You cannot say, oh, I'm gonna only work with you if you decide to buy this and you also buy this too. Like, no, that's out. That's no bueno. And if you go around and keep talk, they will find you. Somebody will find you. Professional ethics, I don't really want to go over this because it don't really have nothing to do with the test, as well as like the code of ethics. But the code of ethics is a written system of standards for ethical conduct, which literally means the code of ethics. Okay. But that's honestly all that really matters in this chapter. I'm gonna also make a video on how to, the do's and the don'ts of when you're online, when you're marketing online, things that you can and you can't do. I think that's gonna be beneficial. I think we went through this quick. The chapter is quick. It's really not that deep. It's not that hard. If you guys have any questions, please leave them below. Also comment, like, and subscribe, and have a good rest of your day. So bad. Bye. No, because people really is watching me record. Like, I can't.